So let's continue with effects and animation. So jQuery provides pretty comprehensive effects and animation features. So these are a subset of jQuery effects. You can hide and show, and as you can see, pretty much all these methods you can just use with this selector notation. So all elements that are selected through this selection will be hidden and will be shown. And toggle, so basically between hide and show, between hide and show. And slide down and slide up, slide toggle, fade in and fade out, fade to, or animation. Okay, so we are going to actually play around with this in the hands-on lab. So this is animate, the method. So you can provide params, duration, easing, and callback. So params define CSS properties that will be animated. So those are CSS properties that will be used by the animation. And so many properties can be animated at the same time. So you could have the shape, color, and things like that. Those things could be actually all animated at the same time. Duration obviously specify the speed of the animation, and you can use fast, slow, normal. Well, you can specifically specify in terms of milliseconds. Okay, so this is an example. So for all P element, I want to perform animation. Starting with the 70% width and opacity 0.4, 40%, and margin left and font size and things like that. Callback. So once animation is done, and then you can run a handler. So this is called sometimes completion handler. So when this hide operation is done in 1 second, 1000 millisecond, then you want to perform these handlers. In this case, it's going to just alert. Okay, so let's do exercise 6. So we are going to do fading and show and hide, a couple of examples, and 2 examples of animation. Okay, so let's try effects 01. This is fade. So let's try this. And you're going to click fade and it fades. I think it's probably okay, so this is the code. It's pretty straightforward. You select when the button is clicked. I want to perform this operation, and for all div elements, so we have a single div element which has the CSS style. So background is yellow, width is 300 pixels, height is 300 pixels, and then we are going to fade to 0.25 opacity, and that is going to be slow. Right? So this remains its opacity 0.25. So if I set to 0.5, then it will set to that let's extract again, fade, and it will actually remain in 0.5. Okay, and so I can try fast. So let's try fast, and this time let's make it to 0, and let's see, refresh, and then yeah, it's pretty fast. Okay, so that is so change the speed and opacity of fading as I did for your own exercise. The next one is a show, hide, and show and hide. So let's say show and hide. Show and hide. This one. So let's run this guy. So hide and show, hide and show. It's pretty straightforward. So the code is so we have 2 buttons, hide and show, and basically it just calls hide and show. Okay. So for your own exercise, create an H3 element and hide and show using different buttons. Okay, the next one is the panel. So we instead of just hide and show a particular element or a set of elements, we want to use hide and show on panel. So let's try this. So here I click this guy, this panel is now shown, and if I click, and the panel will be hidden. Okay, so we have a style for that panel. Okay, and then we have a panel. Yes, oh sorry, yeah, we have a panel, the div panel, styling, and div panel, and then p.flip. Those are the styling, and the code we have is basically when the flip, any element that has a flip, the CSS styling. So this is the one, right? So when this is clicked, and we like to search for all elements that contains that panel, the CSS styling, and that's this guy. Okay, and then basically we are using slide toggler to show, and then the speed is slow. Okay, all right. So for your exercise, create another panel which display the current date, and then create another p element which is used to flip the panel. Okay, all right. So the next one is start animation. So we're gonna actually try two animations. So this is the animation. Let's try this. And if I click start animation, it just does very simple animation. Okay, and the code is pretty straightforward. So here we are going to, when the button is clicked, we are going to have all div element will be animated. So you can see these are in sequential animation, right? So this is done first, and then this is done next, and then this is done next, and this is done next. So these animations are done in sequence. Okay, all right, let's try the next one. Yeah, so for your exercise, so create another div element with the proper style and animate it with appropriate I should say height and width and animation speed. Okay, the last one is animation 2 here. Let's see what it does. Okay, so start animation, it actually moves, and it also changed the font. Okay, all right, so when the button is clicked, so these are two animations. Okay, so we basically change the font size. So these are the CSS properties that we are going to use for animation. Okay, so this is actually sending the 100 pixels to yeah, this is actually left. Oh, I see. So it's actually start animation. Let's refresh. This is interesting. So this is left, and it actually moves. Oh, I see. So what it means is that, yeah, this is correct. What it means is that I want to change the X point to the left. Yeah, let's see what happens with the right. Okay, so it actually moves to the, so it, like a left, left. When you say left, it actually move to the right. That's a bit kind of confusing. Anyway, and so this is the position, and this is for font size. Okay, so that is yeah, so you can actually change the font size and play around the left and right and things like that. Okay, so I will give you, oh, okay, so I think Charles was suggesting left margin. Okay, so maybe we can actually try left margin. Let's try, I'm not sure what that is. Left margin. Let's see whether that is going to actually, yeah, that didn't actually do it, yeah. So, let me see, left, oh, margin left. Okay, so let's try margin left, And then yeah, let's try this guy. Okay, that's the same thing. All right, so we can certainly actually play around some of the options. Yeah, by the way, it is really nice. You know, the bracket actually provide all this the code completion things. So control space, and you can certainly try different things. Okay, let's actually try margin top. Okay, and let's see what the refresh, and then goes here. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna give you 10 minutes to try this effects and animation. On. Next topic is data. So we have seen example of the usage of data already. So data method is used to attach some data of any type to DOM element. Okay, so here you can attach data in the form of key value pair. So this is the foo and the value is 52, and this is bar, and then you can associate JavaScript object, another object, and then you can read it. So you can read the data of the foo, which should return 52, and if you just say data, then it will return all the data that have been stored or attached. So in this case, it will return the data in a form of JavaScript object. Okay. Okay, so that is exercise 7. So let's take a look at the so here we are gonna get the data, then we are going to store and retrieve the data. Two examples. So in this case, let's try this exercise. Data. Okay, so we are going to run this guy. All right, so here let's try 4. So the blob value of this dev is undefined. Then we are going to set that blob to hello. So now it is stored. Then we are going to, so now we are going to let's try to get it, and now it's set, you know, it returns 85. Now we are going to set it to 86, to a number. Now if you get the value, then it should return 86. Now if you remove the value from the element, then it's removed. Then if you try to get it, it should be undefined. Okay, so pretty straightforward exercise. So if you take a look at the code, so depending on which button is clicked, we get the data, we set to hello, we set it to hello, we set it to 86, and then we remove it. Okay. All right. So add, for your own exercise, add 5th and 6th buttons. When the 5th button gets clicked, add your own data to div element, and when the 6th button is clicked, display the value to the span element. Okay, so pretty straightforward. Now let's take a look at the data O2 store. Okay, so let's run this guy. Okay, so the value stored was 16 and pizza, so there is nothing much to it. So basically all we did is basically, yeah, so this is an example where we are storing a JavaScript object. You know, this is the JavaScript object with a key value pair, so two key value pairs. And then we can get the first value and last value. Okay. All right. Yeah, so for your exercise, I want you to add another item here, key value pair, and then try to get that. Oh, so in this case, so in this case, yes, this is probably, yes, not that much. Yeah, it's basically we have a 2 spans. Okay. All right, so that is an exercise. I'll give you just 5 minutes. The last topic in this jQuery Basics 1 is a collection manipulation. So in many cases, when you perform the select operation like this, it will return multiple div elements as a collection. So if you want to perform whatever operations on each of those DOM elements, that's where you are going to use each method, and you pass a function object. Okay, so when you do this, it iterates over DOM elements that are part of the jQuery object. Okay, so basically jQuery object wraps those DOM elements, right? So if you want to perform an operation for each of those DOM elements, this is when you are going to use each statement. Now each time the callback runs, meaning this function runs, it is passed the current loop iteration beginning from 0. So it will pass this function index as starting from 0. Okay, so this function will be invoked multiple times depending on the number of DOM elements, and this index will be starting from 0, and this is the element, meaning it will also pass that particular DOM element. Okay, so in this case, so you could actually just, this is the default, seems like, I mean the optional in this case. So what we have received is a function, and this is the index, so that is starting from 0, and then this is actually referencing that particular DOM element. So you could actually reference, you can use this guy, or just you can use this. Okay, so if the color of that element is not blue, we are going to set it blue. Okay, if it is blue, then we are just not setting the color. Okay, so that's basically what it does. Okay, so that is our last topic. So let's do the collection. Okay, so we have each on DOM elements and each on jQuery objects, and then break into, so let's actually try the first one, collection 01. Okay, so let's run this one, and iterates over 3 divs and set their color properly. So here we are setting depending on which line I'm actually clicking. The first one says to, it seems like it's toggling between red and blue. Oh, okay, so this seems like it doesn't matter where you're clicking, it's just, all right, so let's take a look at the code. So here we have 3 div elements. So we have 3 div element, okay, and so we search for div element, and it will return 3. It will the jQuery object that is returned should have these 3 div elements as DOM element, and for each of those DOM element we are basically, okay, so if it is not blue, then we are setting to blue, and if it is blue, then we are just leaving it as it is. It looks like it is, so if it is blue, then it's actually changing. So when you set if it is blue, then still it looks like it's changing to something different. Okay, so it's actually any place in the document, in the body is clicked, and then we are changing each of those to, so in this case if it is blue, I'm not sure why. If it is blue, then it's changing to red. Okay, so let me actually try to yellow or something like that. Okay, and refresh. Okay, that seems like, if it is yellow, then then it's changed yellow. Okay, if it is blue, then stay with the blue. Okay, whatever. Okay, so that is the first one, and then the next one is and add, for your exercise, as 2 H2 elements, and for each of those H2 elements, if the color is not red, change it to red. Okay, And this one is a collection 02, and we are going to click here to toggle the style. So let's take a look at this collection 02. Okay, so when you click this guy, oh, okay, so it's changing the style. Okay, all right. So basically, this is the each operation. So yeah, in order to use the toggle class, okay, that toggle class is from jQuery, right? So you cannot actually use this as it is. You know, if you try to use, if you just remove this guy like this, as we have seen before, this is not gonna work, okay? Because toggle class is not is not a method in regular DOM element object. Okay, so in order to use a toggle class, which is the jQuery method, you have to actually make sure that this is in fact converted into jQuery object. Okay, and the class we are using is example. So example is basically we are just changing the font style to italic. Okay, all right, so that's basically what it does. And the last one is each break with the return. So this one is a collection 03. Okay, and let's run this guy. Okay, so you can use return to block. So let's try this. Oh, this one, change colors. Stopped at div. Yeah, so in this case, we are just changing up to only this point. Okay. Okay, yeah, so basically in each statement, we actually perform this CS operation, and but if it is in fact a stop, then we are going to actually return false. Okay, so when you return false, and that's where actually this each operation will actually stop. Okay, so let's take a look at the code here. So the here, this is the same thing. You can actually receive that particular DOM element as an argument, and then you convert into, or we can use in fact we can use this. This is the same thing, right? And then in that case, you don't need this, right? So that's the same thing. And basically, we are going to set the background color to yellow, and then so that will be performed for each of this guy. Now, if this element is the stop, meaning if that element is the meaning the ID is stop, so this is where the it gets stopped, right? If that is the case, okay, then we are going to just display this text message and the span. So span is where is the span? Span right here, okay. So we are going to have this one displayed right here, right after change colors, okay, and then we return false, and then this each operation, meaning this kind of for loop, will be stopped. Okay, so that's basically the idea. Okay, all right, that is an exercise. Okay, all right, so in this case, I want you to actually move I want you to actually add another ID, let's say XYZ, and then I want you to stop at the XYZ as well in your code. Right? So I'll give you 5 minutes to try this exercise.